Tim, many thanks for welcoming me, and good morning to everybody here. So it's a great pleasure being here and being part of the SAP Ariba family as of today. I'm here today as CPO for SAP, not to sell you any software solutions. I think Kevin did a great presentation, and Kevin and Tim, they have a lot of people here to help you with any related questions to the solutions itself. And after me, there's Greg, who will present what are the solutions about and to see it really live. I'm here to give you an overview how we, as SAP, running our internal procurement organization and how we have leveraged now the solutions of Ariba and how fast we could implement them. In less than 3 months, basically, we have implemented 4 key Ariba cloud solutions, including the Ariba Supplier network, which is key for us and will be in the future, that we want to bring our suppliers on that network. And what I will show you today is, and I hope you will like the journey, is how we have set up a hybrid model to combining the SAP on-premise SRM system, supplier relationship management, together with the Ariba cloud solutions. This is the presentation about, and this is how SAP Procurement is harnessing the power of SAP. You will see this in a couple of minutes. I've prepared 3 sections for my presentation. Number 1 is SAP's Procure-to-Pay organization, to give you an overview about, and you see here, it's called Procure-to-Pay. Why is that? The reason for that is, and thanks to Bob, who has already highlighted a problem between the alignment of accounts payable and the procurement organization, which is perfectly right. And we have solved this problem in a little bit a different way, and probably this is a future model. We have now brought the entire procure-to-pay process under one leadership, and in my role as CPO, I'm also accountable and responsible for driving the end-to-end procure-to-pay process. Even if one part, the accounts payable, is in the shared services organization, we have only one end-to-end process focus, and we are driving all projects in a way that we can ensure we have it implemented on an end-to-end way. So it was a little bit long for the agenda, sorry for that. SAP runs Ariba program will be number 2, and finally there's one slide I want to wrap up. What were the keys for success? Let me start with SAP to give you an overview about the organization and the volume we are dealing with. 65,000 people, 16.3 billion revenue, and 3.6 billion spent. These are all figures full year 2012. So you see, in the size of the spend we are dealing with, we are fairly small compared to the companies. We have seen this morning, and all the spend is indirect. And as a software company, I think this is not a big surprise. I know there are some fancy discussions outside that even software companies should say their IT spend is a kind of direct spend. Honestly spoken, I don't like this very much. So for me, it's very simple. It is all indirect spend, and is classified very simple in 5 commodities or categories. I will come to that in a moment. We are dealing with around 600,000 invoices, and we are present in 120 countries, serving 350 buildings, and have 14,000 plus suppliers. These are the active suppliers we are talking about. In our database, you can believe me, we have much more, and we are currently trying to clean that up. And yeah, Ariba, as well as the other acquisitions we did, we spent more than 12 billion in the last couple of years on acquisitions. So we have something ahead of us to bring the supplier database under control. But fortunately, Ariba will help here as well by taking over the entire vendor master and materials master process. So therefore, we can hand back this problem now, and we are really looking forward getting a solution pretty soon. So just to give you a little bit more insights about the spend and how it's distributed between the different regions. The majority of the spend, and this is what you see on the slide, in the right orange piece of the cake, 33%, 1/3 of our spend, this is done out of corporate, out of the headquarters. There's another 22% in the EMEA region and 31% in Americas. About that, just to give you a little bit differentiation between North America and South America. South America is about 5 percentage points. 14% APJ. This is the fastest growing market we have for us in the procurement organization, but also for SAP. Just to shoot out one number, our spend in China increased by 88%, 2011 compared to 2012, and is still growing. This is due to the fact that we are heavily investing in China, but also in the other countries in that region. I mentioned we have put our spend in 5 categories. So let me just quickly give you an overview about this. The biggest one, this is professional services. This includes also HR services. This is about 1/3, and this is mainly due to the fact that we are implementing for our customers, hopefully for most of you here in the room, our software solutions together with partners with help. The second biggest is IT, mainly driven by the investments we are doing in the data center, in the cloud business. And then we have marketing, facility, and travel. These are the 5 indirect commodities or categories we have, and this is the setup we have chosen. You see here on the left side some more figures. I mentioned already some of them. Important is also that in our P2P process, we have also one piece in it, and this is, you see it here, the trip entry is mentioned as a figure, close to 800,000 trips what we are doing on an annual basis. This is also part of our accounts payable process, or accounts payable plus travel and expenses, what is driven out of the shared services organization. Probably one figure is interesting for you. This is we measured what are our cost per purchase order for non-automated P2P process cycles. So for the end-to-end process, it is 95 euros what we are paying. So and this is exactly where the business case comes in. This is what we need to bring down, and we see the growth. So Bob has shown how fast the growth is going in the invoice volume. I can give you the figures from 2010 to 2012. Our spend increased by 36%. At the same time, our people we had, thanks to the efficiency and effectiveness, how we have structured the organization, we had only to add 11% people more to deal with the increase in spend. But due to our growth plan, we want to double, based on the 2010 figures, our revenue by 2015, going up to 20 billion. Here you see, and this indicates also that the volume increase is still not over. It will follow up, and we will even get more invoices in. So we need to find a way to further automate, and as much we can automate, the better it is to stay flat with the entire organization, meaning that the 400 people you see here on the slide, we are not supposed to grow this number by 2015. This is an overview about the key figures. We have everything, of course, available in dashboards for the entire process that we really can measure the process performance as well as the KPIs. Here you see the organizational setup on the right side of this slide. As CPO and P2P business owner, the organizational setup below is we have the category management in place. This is all the strategic and tactical sourcing what we have combined here. And from the 200 people we have in procurement, it is around 120, 130 doing all the category procurement on a global level. This team gets supported by 2 small regional teams for Latin America and Asia Pacific, and this is what you see here in the middle of the slide, the procurement shared services for all operational procurement activities what we have. So purchase order handling, request handling, the vendor master data, which is still in this team before it goes to the Ariba services team. And this is covered in procurement shared services. You see on the right side, operational shared services. This is a global finance shared services organization. And here included is the accounts payable and the travel and expense team. Overall, we are present in 44 locations, and the intent is to cover for all units centrally and do all the purchasing activities from the end-to-end process. So we want to leverage the purchasing power. This is our vision, and also to deliver a best-in-class procurement process and, of course, clearly defined but very high service level agreements to our internal stakeholders. But at the same time, of course, we need to be a fair partner to our suppliers, and we need to ensure that we mitigate the risk you see what happens on the market, the raw material, the price, what this impacts. Even as we are only dealing with indirect spend, we are heavily impacted by some of the developments. This is the organizational setup. In parallel to that, we have developed a roadmap on how to run our own solutions and leverage our own solutions in the 5 markets we have defined as a company. The application side, the mobile, analytics, in-memory, and the cloud business. We started with SIM 7.01. This was in 2011 when we started with it, followed by a global catalog management we have implemented, and the mobile shopping cart approval. I can tell you, for example, also to work on the reputation and do a little bit marketing for procurement. As an internal service provider we are, and we recognize ourselves in that way. But tools like a mobile shopping cart approval, having the ability to have all the shopping carts here on an iPhone, this really gives a lot of credit to the procurement organization. It was amazing the feedback we received. Basically, it's the same functionality what we have here, direct back-end integration. And this really shows also the people how we can add value to make their life easier wherever they are, in a taxi, at the airport, waiting time. They can use it and they can approve shopping carts or reject, of course, and everything gets uploaded real time into the system. If you're not connected, it goes up in the system as soon as you are reconnected. We have implemented the supplier management dashboard, the HANA-based reporting for all figures what we are using, and finally, and this is the beauty being now one family, the Ariba network and the cloud solutions we have now. What have we done? The starting point. At the beginning, we analyzed our suppliers because we haven't had the details. How many suppliers do we really have now already on Ariba? We figured out 12% of our suppliers are already on Ariba. And these 12% are good for 34% of our invoices we get from those suppliers. So already more than 1/3 of the total volume was already on the Ariba supplier network. And 45%, this is the orange box you see below, 45% of our top 100 suppliers were a perfect match already. And they are good for about 50% of the volume, the 34% what you see here. This relates to close to 150,000 invoices, what we have, paper-based invoices as of today. And we tried to calculate it together with the sustainability team. This is 1.5 tons CO2 emission. And this is definitely something where we have a very positive side effect by saying, let's move all these paper-based invoices and make them electronic to ensure we can process them in a highly automated way. I will show you now how we have done this. It's only 2 slides to go for, how the program has been established and set up. It was the first step and a second step. The first step was selection of the initial cloud solutions we want to go for. We have analyzed and assessed our internal processes and systems what we have. And we figured out that now from the Ariba cloud solutions, what we could implement is, number one, the supplier management. We haven't had really a supplier management implemented at SAP. So therefore, we have decided for this solution. Number 2 is the e-sourcing tools, including all the e-auctioning, the Ariba collaborative sourcing, what we have here. Number 3 is the Ariba procurement content. So basically, these are the catalogs. We have a competitor product. In the past, I have to say it was a partner product, but now it turns out a little bit in a competitor product. So therefore, we will replace our catalogs this year by Ariba. And finally, the Ariba collaborative commerce. So basically, this is the purchase order and invoice automation, the highest benefit what we get on the accounts payable side. And Bob presented already some impressive figure. If I'm right, it was 22% what has been delivered. So we are shooting also for more than 20% what we get as a reduction here in the teams, in accounts payable, to ensure that we can drive this with a highly automated purchase order and invoice automation solution in place. So these are the solutions we have selected, and of course, in the middle, you see the Ariba network. We are absolutely convinced that via the network, we can also get the savings which have been presented today. I think it's very impressive seeing this, and we can also reach out, and this is amazing. 1 million suppliers are already on that network. So what this means for us that basically everything what we are sourcing, and as I mentioned, it's only indirect spend. So there's already 1 to probably 10 companies out there providing services or goods, and this is exactly where we think also we can leverage the Ariba supplier network. How have we done this? So basically, we are focused on the orchestration of the on-premise and on-demand solutions. So on-premise, this is what you see here with an SAP logo on top in the middle. This is the supplier relationship management 7. Here we have all the shopping carts, all the workflow, the full integration in our suite, in our ERP system. This is all what we continue for operational procurement. This stays and will not change due to the highly integrated system we have already in place. All the strategic sourcing, what you see on the left of this slide. Here we want to move to the cloud solutions of Ariba. I mentioned already supplier management, the catalog management, and the e-sourcing. You see spend visibility at the very beginning. This is a project we are supposed to release in June. So basically in this month, we will start this project and also implement the spend visibility solution Ariba provides. On the right side, you see the accounts payable. And here we also go fully on the Ariba on demand, on the cloud solutions we have to ensure we have covered the end-to-end procure-to-pay process, starting from the strategic procurement on Ariba, the operational procurement on SAP, and then accounts payable back to Ariba, including leveraging the network. Especially here for the network, the feedback from the suppliers was really amazing. We approached about 90 suppliers, and 88% out of it responded immediately back and said, okay, we are willing to join. We are going also to the network. And this was really, it was a small pilot, I have to say. And of course, we focused on suppliers, highest spend also in the right geographies. So I will not say that we can continue this rate for all the 14,000 suppliers we have. But what's really great to see is the positive feedback we got from our suppliers to join us here and to go on the network and do the business via the network with us. This was the approach, and this has been implemented in really a record time. This is what now the family and the colleagues here told me. In less than 3 months, we could implement all these solutions, what you see here, and we are keen also to continue our journey. What were the key success factors? And this is the final slide I want to wrap up with. I just mentioned the 3 months we have. So basically, the implementation approach was number 1. We decided from the very beginning, and it was a typical project approach. Everybody was clear about, okay, this is how we at SAP run our process. And this is also what we now need to translate into the system. Probably some of you have heard this already before. Is this the right approach? No, definitely not. We said it's the other way around. Ariba has so great experience already in doing this, so therefore we decided we go for the plain vanilla approach Ariba has in place because they have incorporated the best practices, and we use the solution in the way they have it as a standard to avoid any customization. And in this time we have implemented it, honestly spoken, there wouldn't be any other choice of doing it because we wanted to have this live and ready for our Sapphire, which was two weeks ago. Number 2 was the use of the SAP Rapid Deployment solution. There was one link missing between the cloud systems and the SAP system. And this link has been developed by having an interface that these two systems can speak to each other and that we can ensure that all the data are getting into our system and that both are connected. And therefore, Rapid Deployment RDS solution has been developed. I think currently the name is now the Ariba Deployment solution, which is in place. So finally, the use of the Scrum project methodology, because this was a high-speed project, so therefore we had to ensure that we do not have a big project team here and all the steering committees and everything, what we do in general. So we decided here for a very lean approach, and we had one steering committee in place to go for the decisions, also to go for the investments, but basically a fairly small team of about 25 people we had here, not all full-time, to make this project happen. This was the success from the implementation side. And the implementation challenges, I have to say at the beginning, it was not so easy to coordinate all the internal resources and all the internal parties to get this done. So global IT, the business side, so the procurement, my own organization, but also accounts payable, the shared services organization. So they were busy already, and we had to put this project on the agenda, on top of the agenda, to ensure that we can drive it as well as the Ariba team. This was at the beginning a high coordination effort we had, but after it has been settled, it really went very well, and we were very fast moving forward here in implementing it. Harmonization of the 4 work streams and the alignment with supplier enablement, all doing this and running this in parallel, this was a challenge what we had to deal with. But basically, both challenges, fortunately, we could overcome and could deliver it in time. The key success factors, to wrap up, it's a simplification and standardization we have decided for. It is the focus on enablement of suppliers, which were already registered on the network, because this were the target group of suppliers we have selected at the beginning, but we want to continue our journey and will now go down the route, and more than 1,000 suppliers are expected to join the network here until end of the year. This is a roadmap we have currently developed. And we had a highly motivated team taking responsibility, an empowered team able to make the decisions so that we can ensure we drive this project in time. And yeah, thanks to the team, to the project lead, the combined team we had, we could finalize it. And already I can tell you, as I stay here today, I just got a confirmation from my project lead for this project. 150 million, 150 million, have been already processed by the new solution, and several hundred purchase orders. So this is really great, seeing that it's not only up and running and we have it in the system. This is really something where we can show, okay, it works, and we have the needed volume on the network. But this is only now the beginning of the journey, so we will continue also implementing these solutions to roll it out on a global level. And I haven't prepared any live demo now here, because I know that Greg is supposed to do this, and he can do it much better than I could do it, even as I was impressed about how easy the system is, and sometimes that it really looks a little bit, so much is automated that it's really difficult to showcase each single step what you normally would do in a process map. So with that, I would like to thank you. I hope this was interesting for you, and I wish you a good conference and hopefully also a good time here in Berlin. Many thanks for your attention.